Hey, do you read the news? No? Well, that's okay. But after I tell you this, you just might start. Because in this video, we're exploring how you can get paid PayPal money, among other payout options from reading the news. Specifically, Google News. Based on what I've seen, this could be a bit too simple to do in just 2 steps. Step 1 is get trending news straight from Google News. Step 2, use a specialized website to create a unique article that we can then possibly make money on multiple websites without selling anything. Sounds interesting, right? Well, if you do think so, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you can get immediate access to the rest of this video. Are you finished with that? Great, then let me show you what I've found so far. Okay, so here's the website that we're going to use. It's Google News, and in case you're not familiar with it, this is what it looks like. There are several categories on the left-hand side here, and we're just going to choose one category here. In this example, we're going to use health, and it's easy to just choose one category. And we'll be using this method on multiple websites, so just focusing on one is easier. Smarter is better. The articles here are trending, and this is the latest news as it relates to health. So just choose one. I'm going to pick coffee and tea because I like coffee. And the title here says coffee and tea linked with reduced rates of stroke and dementia. Wait, hold the phone. I thought it was linked to increase the rates of stroke and dementia. Anyway, I'm straying. The information in this article is not only relevant, but it's recent. So there may not be a whole lot of competition of similar articles on other health-related websites. And what we're going to do here is copy this information and paste it into another website that will create a unique article. But we're not going to just be simply spinning the article because that's just too basic and that's what everybody else is trying. So we want to be a little bit different. Now you can use tools like Quillbot and Spinbot to spin those articles. And those tools have their uses and they're really good at what they both do. However, when the aim of the content is to sell the content that you're spinning, then I don't find it as effective. There are 2 main disadvantages to be found with these spinning tools to use them for something like this. The first thing is that the quality is low. The spin content produced with the help of spinning tools like this is considered to be of a low quality in the eyes of Google and the editors that can be found in some of these magazines and blogs. The reason is that it doesn't contain anything really significant, which you, the writer in this case, could claim as your own idea because you're basically just taking content from a news source, dropping it into this spinning tool, and that's it. The second disadvantage is that it increases the bounce rate, which really means the speed at which somebody would leave an article found on that website. And content created with these spinning tools usually increase the bounce rate. And this will not be good for the websites that will pay you for your articles. The longer people stay, like, comment, and share will send the right signals to the owner of the website of you as the writer. A quick bounce rate may ban you from future work with that client. Instead, you want them to check you for future articles, which is repeat work, and repeat work means more money and less work from finding new clients. So don't panic as yet. Well, we will still be creating content automatically, but we will be using a bit of a hybrid approach, using a tool that is a bit more intelligent and combining that with actually reviewing the content yourself to create your unique articles. And this is one of my favorite go-to tools, which is called jarvis.ai. In case you haven't seen it before, this is Jarvis. Feel free to try out Jarvis. There's a link in the description below where you can get your first 10,000 words for free to see if this tool meets your needs. And once you sign up, you come over to templates. And what we'll be using is something called a content improver, and it's right here. When you click that, you'll be taken to this area where you'll be pasting some of the information that we'll want to improve on. So just come back over to the article over here and copy these first 2 paragraphs. And you copy that, and then you paste it into this section and simply hit generate AI content. So instead of just spinning the content, what this tool from Jarvis AI did is it took a piece of content and rewrote it to make it more interesting, creative, and engaging. And what we have over on this side is 3 different options because I chose 3 outputs. You could choose more if you want. So just take a little time and review each of them, and whichever one you think is best, you just proceed with that one. After checking, I thought this one looked good, so I can just simply hit copy to clipboard right here. And what I typically do next is head over to Google Docs and open a blank document and start creating the article right here by pasting in that first rewritten section. Now you can simply copy additional paragraphs and rewrite different sections, hitting generate AI content, copying it, pasting it, and repeating this process. But you're not limited to that feature for content improving. You can go to your dashboard right here, hit templates, go into new tools. Where is that? Go into new tools, and you can see there's an option here called explain it to a child. With this tool, you can take some of those complex explanations, actually adjust the school grade level that may be more suitable for that type of content. Not meaning for a school student, but making the information easier to understand. So you can take another paragraph right here, copy that, paste it into input text. We can choose grade 5 here, for example, and then hit generate AI content. And if you can just quickly take a look at this first sentence here, which says, the UK Biobank reflects a relatively healthy sample relative to the general population, which could restrict the ability to generalize these associations. Now in the second output here, it was reworded to say the UK Biobank has a lot of healthy people, so it will be hard to generalize the findings. There are not many people who have these problems in this sample, so it is difficult to extrapolate rates accurately to larger populations. I'm sure you can understand from this example that explaining it to a child really did help. I didn't really understand the first one that I read, but the second one made it a lot clearer. And these tools, Content Improver and Explain It to a Child, that's the only tools from Jarvis AI that you really need to get a high quality, unique article. Of course, with your input by actually reviewing the information and making some changes, making sure that it's in the context of the article that you read. You could also feel free to explore the other tools that are part of Jarvis AI. And there are a lot to choose from. So once you have all of the content in your article, you reviewed it and you refined it, we now move over to the exciting part where you can actually get paid for writing these articles. And I've stumbled upon a few websites here. This first one is called Write Your Revolution, where there's 10 places that will pay you to write about health. And these are basically blog posts that has a list of different resources that redirects you to places where you can get paid for writing these articles. And there's useful information here as to how much you can possibly get paid for an article on a site like this, the average amount of words, and a useful link where you can submit a proposal for your article. And there's a link to the online form. And for several of the other resources, there's the same thing here. We can take a look at what one of these websites look like. One is called Vibrant Life, where there's many different categories. You can see up here there are writer guidelines. And these are the simple articles that you can see right here that people are getting paid for. And according to Write Your Revolution, that site Vibrant Life pays $100 to $300 per article. And the short articles are like 450 to 650 words, which as you can see, it just took you a matter of a few minutes really to get something like this done. And the link to some of these resources will be in the description as well. There's another blog post that I found from makealivingwriting.com where you can see 10 health and fitness markets that pay writers. And it just so happens that the first resource here is called Coffee Communications. They may be pleased to see your coffee article. Anyway, similarly, there is the link to where you email your article to get approved, get hired at Coffee.com, and several other sites that you can send here. I also found another article on that same site where there's 21 fresh health and wellness markets to pitch. Whereas alternatively on this page, there's options where your article can get printed, which is a higher payout for you versus online. There are also more well-known sites like eatingwell.com, where when you scroll to the bottom and click Contact Us, you can see that while there's Contact Us for the customers, there's a Contact Us section for writers as well. Click here for Writers Guidelines. And eatingwell.com actually gives you very clear pitching tips here. So if you follow this, that improves your chances of your article getting the go-ahead and getting paid for it. And it states here that Eating Well prefers pitches via email. So email your pitches to pitches@eatingwell.com and include Eating Well magazine pitch and the appropriate department in the subject line. And exactly what you say in part of that, the body of that email, all of that information is here as well. And I will link to this in the description as well, so you don't have to worry about looking for this for yourself. They also manage your expectations up front, that the pay rate is up to $1 per word, and items generally range from 150 to 400 words. So let's say it's an article about 400 words, that's 400 times 1, that's $400. You can get paid up to $400 for an article right here on eatingwell.com. So just to quickly recap, you're going to head over to Google News, choose a category, find the latest article on that, choose one of them, and then when you're on that article, you're going to take the information inside of here, review it, use these two tools in Jarvis AI, Content Improver, Explain It to a Child, and any other of the tools that you see fit. paste it into a Google Doc, review it and refine it to ensure that it is of a high standard. Then head over to a site like Eating Well and many of the other sites that I mentioned, where you can follow the basic instructions and as to how to pitch your new unique article, where you can possibly be paid $400 for a 400-word article. Repeating that process on all of these different websites, of course with different articles. So if you like this option to get paid with writing articles, then I think you're going to really like this one next, where you get paid to transcribe audio files without actually typing anything. You'll be using a secret tool that will do all of the work for you automatically. So I'll see you over there.